Every 10 years, the greatest explorers from across the globe gather in one place to engage one another in conversation. Join us tonight for a night of fancy.
So there I was, middle of the Sahara, naught but a machete to my name, and cocoa bean trees everywhere. The tribe's leaders came to me and asked me for the cocoa beans. I used my machete, chopped down every single tree, and the tribe's leaders brought together their money and used it to buy a boat for me, a canoe it was. And in the canoe I sailed back to South Africa and paid my debts to the warlords.
Riveted tale, old chap. Thorn wobble and mangrove.
Oh, I'm sorry, I should have mentioned I haven't shaken a man's hand since 1985.
Really? How come?
I was raised in Thailand. They wipe their asses with the right hand and masturbate with the left.
It reminds me of the time in Singapore when I ate a whole monkey's brain before I realized that it was not the steak I ordered.
Well, it can't be anything like Cambodia, where they eat entire human carcasses.
One time I stayed awake for 5 days straight. Morning of the 5th day, ghost of Winston Churchill appeared to me. He recruited me as a member of the Baker Street Delinquents. Never been the same since.
That's nothing like the time that I met Dracula in his own castle in Transylvania. I had the stake ready to drive it into his heart, and who should appear but a red-haired maiden. Stayed my hand and saved Dracula that day.
I was once climbing in Tibet during a giant flood. I stole myself a canoe from the villagers and decided my escape was imminent. On my way out there, I realized that there was no paddle left behind, so I stole a small child and used him instead.
Really?
Really?
Well, that's nothing to the time that I explored an Egyptian tomb and found Tutankhamun.
That's quite an interesting story, but not as interesting as the time Sasquatch and I went to the high school prom together.
Well, that's not as good as the times I climbed Mount Olympus using nothing but an ice pick.
I've trained ravens to talk, send them all over the bloody globe to pester people.
I flipped Everest upside down and climbed the inside.
I once got rid of a solar eclipse just by telling it to.
Well, I can speak the language of the dead.
One time, I caught the Loch Ness Monster.
Well, I am the Loch Ness Monster.
I've slept with a woman.
I'll play it, sir.